So for this podcast, we're going to get a little down and dirty in channeling, spirituality, things like that. So if you're not prepared, be prepared, or this may not be for you, and that's totally okay. But this is all the things woo-woo, channeling, and what I've kind of discovered about myself, how I practice these things, what I do, and some stories about the situations I've been in, things I've gone through as far as spirits, paranormal, things like that. And I'm so excited. I've been thinking about doing this episode, going live, doing something along the lines of this for a really long time. And I just hadn't done it because I was like, you know what? That's not really what I talk about, but maybe I should fucking start. So I'm going to go ahead and just dive right into the stories because that's what I'm most excited to talk about and tell. I love ghost stories. So here we go. I have a couple. One of them is when I first started having these experiences, and I was 2 or 3 years old, maybe even 4. I was really, really young, around the age of what my daughter is now. And as I started to get older, I always thought it was just this dream that I had. It always felt like a dream and never felt real. But now that I've opened up my awareness, a lot of this stuff is coming back to me. And it may seem crazy, and you may think that your mind is playing tricks on you if this has happened to you, or if it is happening to you currently, to where maybe it's something like this, like paranormal, or maybe it's something traumatic that's happened to you in your life. Whatever that looks like for you, that can come back as you get older. Things can come to light as you're awakening, as you are, going through this journey. And I don't say this to scare you at all, because honestly, when these things come back into your mind, you'll find a way to get through them. 100%. I believe that with all that I have. And I don't mean to get on this side tangent or anything, but as these things come back to light, you might think, oh, well, am I making this up? I used to do this. Am I making this up? Is this something that didn't actually happen? I'm just my brain is what's real, what's not? And I'm still kind of going through that a little bit in certain things. As I think about old memories, I'm oh, wait, did that happen? Or did it happen the way that I thought that it happened? So just something to think about. And know that it's normal. You're not crazy, I swear. You are just opening these doors in your mind that you closed off, maybe for safety purposes, and now you're strong enough to really take those on. Or you are opening them up to broaden your horizon, if you will, or bring new things in and see different points of views. And really, this is the time. It's coming to you because there's a reason for it, not just because of some random ass shit. You're going through this journey and you're gonna have these things pop up, and your body's okay, now you are in a safe space. Now you are strong or stronger, that you can handle, and I don't want to say deal with these and heal through these. Like I said, I was about 2, 3, or 4, around that age, about the same age as my daughter now. And I always thought it was a dream. So when these memories really started coming back to me, I think I was a teenager or preteen. So I would say I was probably about 14, 16, something like that, right? We were all at the lake because it was summertime, and we were sitting around this campfire and just telling old stories about dreams, crazy dreams we had. And we'd all been, whatever. It was just with a bunch of family. And my grandmother, my mom was there, and a bunch of other family members were there, right? And I started telling my story about this, ghost or spirit that I thought I kept seeing. I kept having these dreams about this thing, and be in the corner and just going on this story. And my grandma was no, that actually happened. And So I'll explain kind of what he looks like. He's all black. He has like a black cowboy hat, black like trench coat, black everything, like cowboy boots, black pants, like all of it black. But he didn't have a face. But I got this like feeling of like a grandfather feeling. But all of my grandparents at the time were still alive. And so I knew that it wasn't actually my grandfather. But I got this like very warm and comforting and loving feeling from him. And I used to always say, he looks like Papa. He looks like Papa. And it's kind of like I'm getting this like weird feeling as I'm talking about this. Like not weird, but like tingle on my neck. And I remember, like, around the age your memories are kind of foggy. But now like looking back and remembering what I remember, seeing this figure and like seeing him in the corner of my room and like not being scared. I was not scared. I wasn't worried or anything, but my grandmother had came to me and was like, no, you would tell me, hey, come in here, come into my room. And you would point and you would just point to this corner in your room. And I was like, that's where he would always stay. It was like by my closet. And I don't remember anything about that house hardly, except for my room and like a part of the bathroom and then like some of the kitchen. Like that's all I remember. I was really, really young. And so it was just kind of crazy to have those memories come back to me. In that moment I was like, oh, okay. Well, that changes things. It's not a dream anymore. It's a reality, like it happened. And I would see him all the time. And I would talk to him, and I don't know what I would say, but I would just talk to him. And I don't know much about this entity. I know that the house before we moved in was a really bad house. As far as like the people that live there were really into like drugs and like I don't even know, like a bunch of stuff. This is just what I was told. And it was really, not a good place to be, I guess. And so I don't know what else went on in there, but apparently it was not good. And so it's just kind of strange. I don't remember ever touching him or going up to him. It was just like he was watching me and just there. So I guess fast forward, it scared the shit out of my mom, let's be honest. My mom does not like things like this. She's very, no, I drew a pentagram in church one day when I was younger, I remember, and my mom was like, oh no, that's the devil's sign, don't do that. And my mom took it to the pastor, like, it was a whole thing. Anyways, my mom we don't go to the church anymore, it's not like, but she was very, like, this is what we do, this is how we do it. My mom was just not really, she didn't not believe in it, she believed in it, but she was just very cautious of it and knew that there was a bad part to it. And I think that's how I grew up, was, worried that, knowing and cautious, because I'm aware that these things can follow you. I know that they're real, and I know that sometimes, like, there's tricksters, and there's so many things that involve this world, and that I just wasn't prepared to be in it. And even now, I'm still kind of hesitant to a point, because I have a daughter now. Like, I don't want to go to these places or really connect with these things and them trick me, or thinking that they're a positive spirit or a positive light, and them being very negative and malevolent and bringing them home to her, or being, I know there's ways to protect yourself, but it just still worries me. Like, I don't want anything to happen to her. I don't want her to have any really bad negative experiences, nightmares, things like that. So I just kind of stay away from it. We're going to move on to another one. I don't have a lot of very tangible, if you will, stories about this that I can remember full force, but I just get really, like, feelings. I keep, like, looking over my shoulder. I don't know. It's just, I don't really feel like that tingling anymore, but I know that it's going to come back because I'm going to move on to another one. And that one is in my house with me. I didn't know. Okay, so there's three. There's one that stays here pretty continuously. And then the other one, which I can sense him sometimes. Not all the time. Mostly I feel like at night is when I sense him the most. I've seen him once, but it was only like a very slight part. It wasn't. Anyways, I'll get to that and I'll explain. So me and my husband, we were laying in bed, and this little boy, my husband told me about him a long time ago, and I never knew. Like, I guess he has seen him a couple times, and he says that spirits follow him. And there's this little boy, he's disabled in a wheelchair, and he doesn't realize that he is passed, is what my husband is telling me. And because he just like, he'll turn on and off the TV, he'll do stuff like that. He doesn't really do that in this home, but I also do a lot to protect us from that, and from, not that he's a negative spirit, I don't believe that at all, because he hasn't really caused us any issues. But I keep bowls of black salt, and my that was so weird. After I said that, my speaker like went poof. Hold on, I'm gonna leave that in, but I know you can hear it. Like, I didn't blow into the camera. I didn't blow into the speaker. It just kind of went poof, like weird and glitched. So I don't think that really happens with this. I wonder if I did it again. So anyway, back to the story. There's going to be a lot of delays, I feel like, in this podcast, and like side tangents and shit. But we were laying in bed, and it was really dark in our living room. There's no extra lights on or anything. I had my lamp on no, I didn't have my lamp on. we have lights behind our TV. So, and they're very dim. They're not super bright at all, but it just helps, like, if we have to get up, especially with a baby, it just, or kid, whatever, it helps to have a little bit of light where it doesn't disturb your sleep, but you can get around and not trip over dog bones or animals or whatever we have in the floor, toys. So I saw this like corner of like a white, like the collar of like a white button up type, and like the shoulder, and that's all I saw. And I was like, and he was like, "What are you looking at?" And I looked again. I kept looking and I kept looking to see if I could make out that frame again, and I could not see it, like, at all. Like, I couldn't figure it out. I'm getting chills on the back of my neck again. I couldn't. My dog keeps shifting outside, so it's making me all jumpy too. I love this shit, but it's still talking about it and thinking about it and like embodying, I guess, the experience and like thinking about it makes me a little jumpy sometimes. But yeah, I have chills on the back of my neck. And he was like, "Yeah, that's that little boy." And I was like, "Oh my God, I've finally seen him after so many years." And Nick would tell me that he would go to, like, he would follow him, and he would follow him from house to house. So when we moved to this another house, he followed and then followed us back. So it's kind of crazy, kind of cool. Again, I sage, I do all of these things to really protect ourselves, but sometimes it's just, you never know. So those are like the two main ones that I've seen. And I'm going to tell you a little bit, another story, but also that really confirmed that this little boy's here, and also tell you a story, like how I practice this. So I get really high and I sit, I've done this like twice maybe, and I sit with my journal because I feel like it really opens up your mind and you're just really relaxed, and it's not, your mind isn't going a million miles a minute. If you have, like, especially as moms, especially as women, we have a lot on our minds. I say this all the time. So when we have this like sense of relaxation, this sense of feeling like our mind is almost clear, and I get that when I smoke, it's like you can connect, maybe not completely connect, because you can still have those like words or guards or whatever you want to call them up to protect yourself, but you can almost see, feel, hear even these different things. At least for me, this is how I've really become to embody this gift, if you will. And so I'll sit there and I'll sit with my journal open and I'll just draw whatever, or I'll just sit there. It just depends. And I'll just close my eyes and almost get into this meditative state. And I've done, like, I meditate pretty frequently, I'd say. And so it's become very easy for me to just drop in and get in that state very easily. So it does help. It does take time to build that up. That is a way that I've begun practicing opening my mind, my awareness, things like that. That's like the perfect way to start. If this is something you're wanting to discover or look into, and I didn't realize it was called channeling, because I was on this call with this coach, and I hate to get this wrong, maybe I should look it up, but she's very intuitive, and she channels, but she works more with animals, speaks with animals and pets. And so it's just amazing. And I'll even put her stuff down below, because if you're into that, if you want to connect with her or you want to work with her, she's so sweet and so amazing, and she's just a ball of light. So I'll put that down below too. This is going to be a mess to edit because I just woke up a few hours ago and I'm still sleepy, and I'm like not completely like awake. Maybe I should drink some coffee because I've been up for a couple hours, and normally by now I'm ready to go. So I didn't realize it was channeling, and we just kind of discussed everything, and she was like, yeah, you should look into that. People have seen that spirit before, talking about the dark clothed man. And she was like, yeah, look into it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I should, because that's kind of crazy. So I'll sit there, I'll just get into this meditative state, and I will just open my mind up to anyone, anything. Anything that's light and loving and positive, I open my mind up to them and allow them to whatever. I'll also call in my protectors and my people and entities that protect me and guide me, my highest self, my ancestors, or deceased loved ones. Some people call in spirit animals, some people call in like God, universe, whatever it is that you really connect with, call those in and just tell them to send like this white light around you, cleansing you of negative energy. I know that sometimes that the darker spirits or entities can be drawn to the light, so that's something you want to make sure you're like cleansing after. Again, I'm not a professional, so if you want to know more about that, I would definitely look into it if this is something you're getting into. Maybe even work with a professional if you're a little worried about that. But this is just what I've done. This is my story of my whatever. So I'm sharing. And that one of the times that I had done it, it was more for me, not really anything coming through. And then another time that I had done this, I was getting a little boy against a brick wall, like in a corner. And it was definitely like, what did I say, like a 1920s area where they have, I don't know what they're called, but they're like, look like a built hat, but they're not. It's like, anyways, it doesn't matter. I can't explain it. And he also had on this like green trench coat or green coat because he was outside, and then like yellow shorts or something, or yellow pants. And it was very cartoonish. Like I never really seen a cartoon. Like it was very weird. But this is what I was like getting as I'm seeing this. So I'm writing it down, whatever. And then I go to visit it the next day. And I notice, but I notice after I've checked in. I've checked out of my brain a little bit, and I'm noticing what's going on around me. And I'm alone in this dark room right now. In my room, it's completely dark, and I'm doing this, and it's like I feel something behind me. Like I feel like this, like something, And that's as far as it goes. But I set it down, I look at it the next day, and I remember this visual that I had received, and it was just really cool. And I was like, oh my God, I can see things. And I had talked about in a TikTok before how I could feel my third eye opening. And I still get this sometimes, but it was like a really big release and maybe I'll have to come on and tell that story or post it here or something, but I will just sit and it'll get like this tingling or maybe even like a warm sensation where my third eye would be. I swear I keep hearing shit now. Could be like, when you talk about things or people or entities or spirits or whatever you call them, they tend to show up. I did some research. So it's called the Hat Man, from what I found. And excuse me, I'm going to open my curtains because it's freaking beautiful outside today. And I feel like it's not even really cold, at least not from when I stepped outside for a minute. And so yeah, the Hat Man, you can do your own research, but basically it's a lot of like saying this is negative, this is not, like it's a demonic spirit, things like that. I never got that vibe from him. A lot of people say they have felt paranoid, or it's usually people see it when they are close to death. People see it like it's like a Grim Reaper basically. So I'm kind of curious about that. Like I'll have to call my mom and see if she moved us out pretty quickly after. Maybe that home was full of maybe mold, so I was seeing not hallucinations but like that, or I don't know, I'll have to do my research on that because I'm really curious as like why and what. But I'm also, not gonna lie, I'm a little worried, a little nervous about doing that because I don't want that to come back, just in case it is malevolent. And yeah, so I'll just have to do my research. I'll keep you guys updated. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you really should, because that's where I do a lot of my like really quick, hey, this is what's going on, hey, I'm updating you on this, versus doing a whole ass podcast over it. If there's enough content and enough like info, then I will, but doing just a podcast over something quick, that's where I do it on Instagram. So feel free to follow me over. And I really hope you enjoyed this. I might even add some more stuff in so it may sound differently later before I go ahead and post it and completely edit it, but I just wanted to get something like this out here, share a little bit of what I've been doing to really connect with that side of myself, because I know it's there, so I might as well protect myself. And ignorance is bliss, yes, but it's safer to know and understand. And it can be scary because it's like you're opening your mind to a different, I don't want to say realm, like a different way of being, of living, of experiencing the world, a different world in itself even. And so, like I said, it can be scary, but it's amazing, and you really do open your mind so much to so many different things, not just the negative, but also the amazing goodness of the world. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave a review and share with another mama who could use some support. If you'd like to connect with me elsewhere, I'm on Instagram and TikTok. All my social links will be in the show notes. And just remember to love yourself and do something for you every single day.